Okay, well, good morning and hello, friends. Welcome to another Prefect 99 flies the Challenger probably quite badly. So, after the fun of a little bit of VFR last night, I thought, why not head back to the UK since it's a glorious flying weekend and drag the airplane back down south using a route that I would probably arguably use in reality. So let's get out to the jet, start getting set up and out what to do. Oh dear. I do that. Well, you can see that if you remember it wasn't here, there shouldn't be ice on the wing. So back to the FBO. We didn't park there, but I towed it. It's be interesting. Clicking there, I managed to boot us outside. Make sure that Volanta hasn't registered that, because interesting
Welcome
things.
to Hot Start Flight Support. How can we help you today?
Hello Jenny, you made it back across the pond rather quickly. So, our departure time, 1200. Do I arrive an hour before, even at a light aeroplane? Yes, plenty to go wrong. There's going to be 2 of us up front, 2 in the back. We may or may not need some fuel. May have more than we need. Why don't we use a GPU? And we can ask for de-ice via the radio.
Of course, Captain. I'll get that organized for you right away.
Thanks, Jenny. Have a wander out to the jet. Here we are. Oh, with things driving through it, that's irritating. Could they be following this route? Whatever. So, I don't think there is a way to get rid of the ice. I'm pretty sure if there was any, box are in. Certainly in the sunshine side, it would be cleared well and truly off. The FBO's over here. It's a hangar rather than a little thing, and you can see you can walk out. So whoever did the scenery here did not a bad job. I personally would fill these with static aircraft. I would put X-plane spawns, and then if people use the X-plane traffic, then it does its thing. So VFR, we'll go over the VFR rules in a bit, because we may have to be doing some altitude changes to dodge those. See the mottled wings, we will die if we don't clear those, so once we've done the fueling, I might shut the door. Do it on stand. I know that's not prototypical, but shouldn't really be there anyway. So once we've got power, GPU, yeah, the APU won't be able to do that. So, looking along the circuit breakers, look fine in our trusty steed. As do the footwells. I haven't yet printed off the full normals. I need a bit of an adjustment. So airplane and flight publications can't check, and this is not the default one. This is out of the QRH. Circuit breakers I've checked. Emergency equipment I can't check. Up on top. Hydraulic pumps all off. Interesting, you see it does it all before you put the battery on, and that's just because, hey, these are checks that you can do. It makes sense. Nose steer is off and matches my hardware. Landing gear lever is down and matches. Light spoiler is retracted, flaps up, matched. ADG manual is stowed. Check the landing gear. And checking that I haven't. ADG check. No, looks like it's on the other one. I mean, I can see why you would do it this way because it works without power. Anyway, then it simply says battery on. So we have AC applied, 125, 400, well, sorry, 115, 400. See the buses, I'll remember charging. We need 22 and we got 25. IRX first start of the day. Two, three, four, green. Two, okay. Detection.
Jet pipe overheat.
Oral, 1, 2, 3.
Jet pipe
Three.
overheat.
Five, amber, checked. Up on top, nav lights on. APU is not required. So, take external AC power. AC and DC electrics. Well, DC is charging, we already checked. This are on external. Test. About as good as I can do. Lead leak detection.
Bleed air duct.
1 oral, 4 switch lights,
Bleed
5 red.
air duct.
A, green, B. Now APU and 10th stage open packs on what we can't do. All FMS in it. Index. Pause. Pause. Let's position. There that goes. So, I think I'm going to wait now for the fueler before we do anything else, and then if anybody else comes online, we'll talk about one. Hopefully. So our block fuel from SimBrief, which I've had to sort of fudge a little bit, 056. I'm going to put 20. I'm going to go up a got a Concorde from Frankfurt. Okay, how interesting. So, Volanta's running. VATSIM. You can see the ice is melting, but okay. There you go, look. Busy. VATSIM. Okay, we are not going to be interacting with any of these, however. Because either be at 3.5, 2.5, 4.5, 2.5, 3.5. Lowest we can do to comply with semicircular rule from VFR, and whilst also staying above MSA for boot. So I think we do have 1670 on board. Hopefully we're going to have enough fuel. If not, we've got plenty of diversion options. So we only need 430 kilos. If you're watching, please do say hi. Feel free to ask any questions. So that is approach isn't quite the other side.
All right, Captain. Fuel truck is hooked up. Just let me know how much fuel you need. Or would you like to go tanks full today?
Definitely want. We definitely don't want tanks full. So divide 30 by 0.813 gives us 528.9. So how close can we get to 530, 60?
All right, I'm gonna go start up the pump.
Works, we are in KEGs. Those 670 matches what we had on S. As he starts pumping. A lot of test works. Back down into the seat. So that's running. Let's set up radios here. So COM 2 1217E. I'm getting these off the real chart. Tower 1197. 705, we've got 72. It's going to be close enough to it. VATSIM does. There's nobody online. Well, Teleline Belfast and Amsterdam radar, but we're not those. So those are set up so that we can use them. And we would want 73 set. Yeah, so I've done that the right way around. Just because when I click that, it displays. That's just for my display, so I can see it all. Because obviously, it's visible over here. I don't think you guys can't see that, and it's on my second. Perfect. But it's worth getting all of that set up so that you can quite simply switch between the two. Anyway, we'll stay on Unicom. in
Refueling
reality.
is
So,
complete, Captain. Do you need anything else?
no, sounds good to me. 2056, we've got easily more than that, so thanks. But no,
Okay, just one quick signature on here, and I'll be on my way.
500 quid's worth of fuel.
Here's a copy for your records. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Really difficult to see those. So I'm going to leave the panel on, and I've just aligned. Let's shut the door. And we're de-iced. Plus it stops anyone else from hassling me, so. Oh, yeah, I forgot to do the handle then. No, you know what, it doesn't matter because we're going anywhere. It's a good morning. So, I don't think I can request that way, can I? Get in. I have to do for de-icing. De-ice. Hassle the passengers. Haven't used that before.
Hot start flight support. Jenny speaking. How can we help?
Hello, Jenny. Please. No, she can't do it, can she? That's less than ideal. So we've got to do that ourselves. So let's switch COM1 over and do 13692.
Always a pleasure. Take care.
And
Go ahead, cockpit. Ground to cockpit. There are still service vehicles around the aircraft.
well, that's irritating, isn't it? So I guess we should have done it before we powered up the aeroplane. Oh well, we'll just have to do it prior to start, but after passengers, which is so after we've started the APU. It's just irritating. Actually, how far through the checks have we got? I suppose the question is it going to be more efficient to just simply power down, leave the batteries on? No, we'll do it with the APU. We've got extra fuel. Never mind. Anyway, there goes my cunning plan. So, weather-wise, the met off at Newcastle 54 minutes ago, 10:20, so I'm expecting a new. We can do that. So the rest of the checks, seats and harness and rudder pedals, and this is the point at which we do the nose door. So, check it's clear. Hydraulic page. That's interesting. On. APU gets checked a couple of times. Interesting. So we pop the hydraulics on, but we don't apply the brake, which I find is odd. So I'm going to do that. Okay, maybe we'll just go back to the default. So 3000 PSI, done. Let's go outside and then I'll run it through on-screen check. I did have a look at it to try and change it, but XML is. It doesn't look particularly difficult, it just looks quite diddly. Those doors will squash you if you stick yourself in there. There's nothing going to stop that. Hydraulic leaks, for instance, never try and feel for a hydraulic leak. 2,000 psi jet hydraulic cut. An acid, a laser. Done.
Flight compartment checklist. AC and DC electrics.
Done.
Nav lights, logo light.
Checked.
Cockpit lights. Lamp test. Duct monitor. FMS database status.
Well, we didn't do that. Let's set position to GNSS 1. Yeah, we probably should. No, it's the same, isn't it? It has figured it out. It does like that. So. And we're just going to put destination. We're going to put departure and destination in just because. Actually, I wonder. I don't want to cheat and use the magenta line, so we'll just have a straight line between the two. So we'll put that in.
FMS flight plan uplink, ATIS.
So I'm not going to uplink. I'm going to pop this in. It's VFR flight, so we don't have to go to just don't even have to have an alternate, but it is sensible to have one. So that's going to be a straight line. No, there is, because there's no waypoint, you need at least one waypoint, which I'm not going to put in. That still count as no flight plan. Could we, why don't we put Oxford in, then we can just go direct to it. So there you go. So you need one waypoint for the flight plan. I want to get rid of that caution, really. That's going to take us direct to Oxford, which is nowhere near our route. So our nav source is going to be FMS1, and we're probably not using any VORs. We may need it for the DME on departure, but that is it. We're not going to put any winds in, although I suppose that helps with fuel, or accurate fuel figures. So let's pop 3,500. Delete that one out. Pop our zero fuel weight 12734. You of course need that. That for our performance, so we do need to put that required information in. So VNAV wise, same with our cruise. 244 miles a minute. Definitely not decimate 0. And so that gives me a little bit of a worry. Nope, that's just reserves yet. Transition flight level, Benson is under the London DMA. What is the pressure today? quite high. Newcastle's 1031. Benson. .028. So let's call it 70. Not that we need it. I think Newcastle. Transition to Tude. $6,000. I think it was that, but it is a busy place. So, what is our final reserve? 395. That's 30 minutes. You don't have to have a minimum of VFR, but that's not too bad. Our ETE is not 132. And departure time is 15. Thanks if you put 100 on there. So far we're actually looking right. I've got an extra 353. That's about right. So execute that. Message gone away. If it does come up, we have a problem. Drift is relatively minimal. We are going to be flying for just about an hour. So flight plan we've done, weather yet. I am actually assuming that we can get into Oxford. Oxford's got quite a long way.
Anti-skid.
Might as well do that while we're waiting. Est green.
Nose door.
Did.
Hydraulic 3A pump.
Did.
Brake pressure.
Checked.
Parking brake.
Is. Should be set. I don't have the caution though. Set that again. Now it's on.
Nose door.
Is closed and the pin is out.
Hydraulic panel and pumps.
So that one on. 3A wheels green, 3B goes green. On. All green. 1000 PSI, same with the outboard brakes. Checked, all good.
Electric panel.
Gen 1, Gen 2 off.
AC DC utility switch.
Out, extinguished.
Start ignition panel.
All out.
Fuel panel.
3 green, 2 whites. Two green, 1 white. All good.
APU LCV.
Not required yet.
10th stage isolation valve.
All that.
Packs.
all those.
Air conditioning panel.
So the cabin temp is 14. Let's knock this down a little bit. Cockpit. Normal. Ram air is out, extinguished, guarded. Temperature's set.
Pressurization panel.
So Benson is only about 100 feet. So that CAS 0 differential pressure. Man out, center. Wait for the anti-clock. Press con in. Manual ECAS. Light illuminates. Yes, that's set. And we did say this weather along. Benson 1027. What does that convert to? For that, I need my trusty flight information handbook. Buried under a load of junk. 1027 is about 30.33, and that's 10, 20, 30. So 20, 40, 60, 80. So 33 is somewhere about there. It's going to do it. Rate pitch set, emergency depression out, guarded, and extinguished.
Bleed air panel.
Not going to do yet.
Supplemental ground wing anti-ice panel switch.
It's down, out.
Cal anti-ice switches.
On, no cautions.
Anti-ice panel.
Off. Left and right heat out. Cal out. Extinguished. Both set. Test. 1, 2, 3, 4 green. Nice detect. Check. Overheat. Do green. Big overheat.
Wing overheat.
And 1 red.
Wing overheat.
Anti-ice test okay.
Wing overheat.
Emergency lights.
Currently off. With caution. On. With info. Armed. Neither.
Passenger signs.
I'm going to leave them off for the moment.
ELT.
Armed.
Glare shield panel.
Anything to do there? Yes, cancel the warning.
Crew and passenger oxygen.
So we've got more, I'm not going to check. We've got 18, 60.
DCU warning panel.
It's over here. Out and extinguished, guarded.
CVR.
Test. Light comes on. Set.
Audio panels.
Discussed, and I do have to swap back to 122A after we've done the de-ice.
SPS system.
So store protect my side. Store protect FO's side. Flight control page is that one. Stab trim 1 in. Down to 0. And then stab trim disc. So stab trim, yes. Simultaneously hold SPS. Stall fail. Ignition AV, yes. Elevator all the way down. Stall warning. Checked. Released. Let go. Clear.
Integrated standby instrument.
So what we really need is the current weather. Castle. 13 minutes ago. Odd. So 1031 is set, about 260. Fine to me. And don't forget we're not going to be switching to standard today.
Clock.
UTC is correct. Flight time is set.
EFIS ICAS.
Checked.
Main landing gear bay overheat.
Oral,
Gear bay, overheat.
and one warning.
Gear bay, overheat.
Caution fail.
TOS warning switches.
They are all out. Test.
Glide slope. Pull up. Wind shear, wind shear, wind shear. Terrain, terrain, pull up.
Good, let's turn that off. We will keep the radar on during flight. They are relatively low.
Pitch and roll disconnects.
They are in and stowed.
Ground spoilers.
Auto.
Thrust reversers.
Checked. Armed.
Thrust levers.
Number 1. Full. Correct. Cut off. 2. 3. Correct. Cut off.
Engine speed switches.
Both on.
Engine vibration check.
3.5.
Oral warning. Smoke detector.
Smoke.
Oral toilet baggage
Smoke.
bay. Warnings.
Smoke.
Trims. Mock trim.
So, press 1 and that in and get stamp trim 2 in on. Push it, stamp trim, Mac trim. Yes. 2, 1. And you meant to do it with the co-pilots, what am I going to stamp trim 1 in on. Then disconnect. And 1, 2, 3. No info, no caution.
Yacht ampers.
In, caution off.
Reversionary inhibit switches.
Set normal and tune inhibit and MSD inhibit.
IRS.
Go back down and that one, nav 3,
CPDLC.
can't do,
TCAS.
can do. See what that and that one. Average fuel flow per hour. Both engines, so yeah, just half an hour extra. Sounds good to me. Interesting.
ATIS and clearance.
I missed that TCAS, didn't I? So, I'm going to set 7,000. And the only bit of control airspace is
TCAS system
Yeah.
test OK.
and doing a route that avoids it. We actually go over some ATZ. It's sensible to speak to those places. Just going to announce where we are. That's going to be about it. So, ATIS, let's scribble down the weather for Newcastle. So, should have a clearance from 07, the Ethon departure, which is going to go straight out over the coast. I will use DME for that, but it will be obvious coastline in reality. 120. So a slight crosswind, 50 degrees, so almost all crosswind. 1020 Zulu. 0, 9, variable 0, 9, 0, and 5, 0, greater than 10k visibility, a few 1,800 feet. So visibility is fine. We are going to have to zero clouds. We make the level off of 1,500. Just going to dial that in. No, we can go higher than that, can't we? Because clouds are probably about 2,000 NCL. So stay clear. We arguably have to be 1,000 feet clear of cloud, which makes things a little bit more difficult. Hence why, of course, you can do IFR, and you can just pop up IFR as well in the UK. The temperature 9, we've got 10, so we'll take 10. Dew point is 3, and the QNH 1. Got. And Benson at 10:50 Zulu is port 070 at 8. So that favours 01, doesn't it? 10k. Broken 39, that sounds about right. Temperature of 9. Beautiful day for flying. 027. We can't get audio ATIS for Benson because it's on UHF. But you could ask ATC for it, Mr. Master Pilot. Hey, thanks very much. You must have subbed. I don't think I've seen you before, so thanks for joining. So, ATIS clearance we can't do.
FMS flight plan, wind update, perf.
Done that now. We haven't done perf for takeoff, have we? So, 10 degrees in here. Go higher, so higher of the ATIS versus what the aircraft is saying. Done the 0 fuel. 0, we may just take the higher weight because our current growth weight is 0. So it's 21.20. So as we get closer to bed's current fuel, base everything of that, I get a bit take off. So we still need to pick with none of these. 607. Straight out departure. And it will therefore be heading mode 066. It's the runway track, so we will just adrift. And then we think for arrival. 60 degrees off, but still favouring, especially at 8 knots. 01. 5. Extension. The circuit height should be 15. I think it's 15. Be 12. 15 is a bit more comfortable in this, so take 1500 QFE. And then adjust that, I think it's 18 QN8. So, takeoff, full departure. Not quite, but getting close to all. 031, yes. 10 degrees, yes. Pressure altitude -214, that's why it's a good flying day. Field length ample. Just have a look at the departure. So can we go from the intersection here to say that I'm out of Fox? What? That's from the end of Foxtrot. Foxtrot gives us 1745, so yes, ample, accept. Intersection departure. Send those through. So, there is no speed restriction on departure. 200. Now our route takes us to a VRP. We struggle a bit with that. It's quite close in. The idea being that you don't do it directly from the airfield, like somewhere that's visible. Ideally, VRPs are meant to be visible, distinctive, and then you set off on your route. So we need to get to that. We're going to be bringing the power back relatively quickly. And we need a bit of a tighter turn. So actually, let's take 60 with flap 1, which may not be the most comfortable. We're going to go straight ahead and then get, looking at the control zone chart, I think if we get to 7 DME, that's from the threshold though, about 7.5 DME. That is effectively the coast. That'll take us a right-hand turn. We should be able to get to Sunderland Harbour, which is sort of due south. So a turn to 180, and then from there our initial leg is 135 for 9 minutes. So we got stopwatch heading in time. So 160 would be a safe speed, if not comfortable. Load all of those. I'll leave the takeoff page there. We're not going to do anything with the legs. What I do need is tune the DME, and that's 11425. So nav 1. Oh no, what am I doing? 11425 is the DME, but we're getting it because, of course, it's slaved to 1115. Am I really being this dense? Is my nav that poor? Disable the downwind ILSs. But that doesn't happen at Benson. The 19 is always left on, so we will untick that at some point. 5. That's not playing ball. Odd. I find that really odd. Not going to need those VORs, but DME can sometimes be useful. I find that really weird. Never mind. So, just have to look outside.
Takeoff data.
We've done, and we can take an intersection.
Avionics and charts.
It's going to be visual. Happy days.
Flight instruments.
So, Toga on the ground. Our drills apparently. Takeoff, out select armed, flight directors come live. It's going to be a heading departure. So I'm going, no. Let's try that again. There we go. Off. No localizer. Else. D speeds 112, 121, 137, 160 is bugged. Safe speed. I may see how we get on. I do want to level off. I may use the it's stable and then start hand flying it. 1500 is bugged. That's probably what they'd give us anyway. SI is 031 set. I'm going to take off 3 days.
Departure briefing.
Discussed. It's just going to be straight ahead to the coastline. Turn right 180 to the VRP. If we can find it, need to find it, and then once we're overhead Sunderland Harbour, then 435 degrees. That is degrees. Relatively close to track. 9 minutes.
Emergency procedures. Pins, covers, chocks.
So 1 chock's in.
Cabin lights, water heaters, master seat. Flight compartment checklist complete. Engine start checklist next.
So, shall we see if we can hurry the passengers up?
Hello?
We are ready to go. Please come and get in.
Great. I'm just parking my car. Be there in a few minutes.
Now, some people have said that that doesn't actually hurry them up, but hey, it was worthwhile, wasn't it? 2120, I don't really... What I want to do is get them on board, then start up, because it's 14 degrees, so it's not too bad. Then we'll get everything started up, get going. Let's take the chocks out now. So, Master Pilot, you got any questions, comments? So chocks are out. So Benson's elevation is 203, 250, so 1700 on the QNH. Light aircraft circuit height is 800 feet, which is a QNH. Of course, Royal Air Force will give you QFE if you, well, no, QFE by default, QNH by exception. It's a right-hand circuit, so to try and do that for 01. See how we get on. There are lights, but there is no ILS for 0. Are they hurrying up? Fairness, shouldn't they have been here already?
Hello, Captain. It's Jenny from Hot Start Flight Support. Your passengers have arrived.
Wicked.
Shall I have them brought to the plane?
Yes, please.
Understood. They'll be there in a couple of minutes. Anything else?
No, that's grand.
Always a pleasure. Take care.
So let's just make sure the icing has not melted of its own accord. No, there is still some there left. Pop that in. Anticipation. Gonna leave packs and everything off. What I'll be doing on the way is we'll stay on Unicom, but I will do frequency changes. Underside radar, we talk Conning to the approach withering zone. Sidewall potentially be run relatively close to them and Benson, so they can all be queued up. Probably do that on Com 2. Just to get into the habit of switching, etc. For departure, let's take 180. A little bit quick.
Hello, Captain. How are you today?
Really well, thanks.
That's great to hear. Well, we're all set back there, so we can get going anytime.
Great. Shut the door. Get the APU running. Quick de-ice because somebody let the wing hold. Sit tight. Grab some champagne. Be on our way. So it's 11:50. It's worth writing down when you start the APU, just because some places have limits on how long you can use it for. The APU starting up. The book says let everything stabilize before you take power. I like to wait until APU Gen caution comes on, just to make sure that that caution does work. Don't think you have to. Veil. Quite stabilized yet. 5 seconds after that. There's the ding, APU Gen off. So, here it is, available. Let's put it on. Take that one off. Disconnect the ground power, please. All the buses are being powered. ERUs, utils, ground power's disconnected. Days.
Go ahead, cockpit.
Just
Roger.
de-ice. There's the de-ice guy.
Ground to cockpit. Starting de-icing using SAE Type 1 fluid on your wings and tail.
And of course, like I've explained before, you wouldn't necessarily do this in reality. You can't always do it on stand, but it's preferential because you're burning a hell of a lot less fuel than engines running. Shannon Center is online. That's something else for us. like the only departure. Can be relatively quiet en route. Stansted, Gatwick, Shoreham. We can get into Shoreham. Manchester online. Apologies. Hey. Now, I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. I would like to think I don't have any bleed air or engine worries after spray de-ice, i.e. 60%. 2 minutes before using the bleed air and the packs, because nothing's been on, so it shouldn't be pouring anything in through those. I could be wrong. Anyway, our departure's at 12:15. We're going from the intersection. Ample runway available, so a little extra delay doesn't too much. And then en route we'll just have to make a decision whether above these, which this cloud layer is going to lift. Don't really want to be low and slow. In reality, like I said in the description, I like to be as high as possible. 6, 7, 8,000 feet. Can't really go much higher than that in the UK. So always plan the route by controlled airspace, just in case you don't get a transit. It isn't like the States where, well, a lot of class echo everywhere. But just avoid everything is the answer. Not to necessarily anyone, although you can do that. But just to ensure that your route is viable, of course. Airspace may not stop you, but whoever can. I'm used to playing with the VFR minimum of 140 because...
Route to cockpit. De-icing is complete. Surfaces are clean.
Thank you. I'm more than 40. Right. Back on Unicorn. Happy days. So, APU's running. Open these up. No. Go. Hopefully not poison. Axe. Temperature inside the cabin is 18 degrees. Go up that quickly.
Engine start checklist. Doors. Closed. Parking brake and pressure. Checked and set. Fuel quantity and balance.
There is 50 kilos, which is less than Mach 2.
Beacon.
So we would check clear for start. I'm not going to announce it on VATSIM.
On. Fuel boost pumps. On. Ignition.
It's the 20th today, let's use
Armed. Engine 2 start.
So, okay to start number 2. Of course we would call ATC, there's no one to call. Thumbs up. We will start engine number 2. It's going to be 05 with 10, so we've only used 10 kilos. So, what have we got? N2's turning, oil pressure's rising, 20%, ITT is less than 1 turning. Full on, fuel flow increases, pressure increasing.
Fuel system.
Just waiting for the left low pressure. The right engine is running, so that's caution for left and right fuel pump. Low pressure.
Engine 1 start.
Thumbs up. Start engine. So oil pressure's increasing. ZN2. That's 150 M1's turning on. Flow increases. ITT increases. Oil pressure increasing.
Engine start checklist complete. After start checklist, next.
So 2, 4, 6, 2 on both.
After start checklist. Generator 1 and 2. On, checked AC and DC. Ignition.
So just wait 2 kVA on both. Battery's still charging. Not you. Right.
Disarmed. Packs. On. 14th stage. Open. Cowl anti-ice. On. Check 45 seconds. Flight controls.
Back down there. Full forward. Full off. Full left. Full right. Left rudder. Right rudder.
Ground spoilers.
So they are in auto. They go to disarm, nothing deploys. Arm, they deploy, we go back to auto. They stow.
Flight spoilers.
Way up. Off. Stowed.
Cowl anti-ice.
Al anti-ice on.
Supplemental ground wing anti-ice. Test on. Fuel balance.
50 kilos.
Trims.
Set pitch. Two, three.
No steer.
So the chocks are out.
Armed. APR.
1 APR test OK. 2 APR test OK.
ADG unit.
On and off.
Supplemental ground wing anti-ice.
If that test OK. Oh, I know why we're getting 0 DME, because we're at 0 DME. Idiot. Nobody else picked that up. So, test OK, light out.
Cowl anti-ice.
Out.
Off.
Off.
Wing anti-ice. Norm. 14th stage isolation valve.
Works.
Wing anti-ice.
Wing anti-ice is OK. Yellow N2.
Checked. Off. ATS. N1 TO. ATC TCAS.
We have set.
After start checklist complete. Taxi checklist next.
Newcastle traffic, Prefect 99. GA apron, taxiing, hold, Foxtrot, runway 07, Newcastle traffic. So let's pop that on.
Taxi checklist. Taxi lights. On. Wing and cowl anti-ice.
Not required.
Brakes and steering.
So it's 2111. Log off blocks. Brakes work. All right. Full left rudder available.
First thrust.
Just check in a moment. Clear of this one. So left, void, stowed, right, void, stowed.
If taxiing the de-ice, pause checklist here until a paper de-ice checklist is complete. Flaps. 20. Altimeters. Set and cross-check. Radar weather. On. Takeoff briefing.
Have discussed.
Taxi checklist complete. Before takeoff checklist next.
So let's have a look around. I don't see anything.
Before takeoff checklist. Passenger signs. Advised on. Anti-collision light. On. Pros. On. Windshield heat. On. Wing and cowl anti-ice.
Not required.
Continuous ignition. On. ATC TCAS. TARA. Supplemental ground wing anti-ice panel. Checked. CAS. Takeoff config OK.
I will check. I haven't checked it because we hadn't done the checks at that point.
Landing, pulse, recog lights. On. Before takeoff checklist complete. After takeoff checklist next.
Newcastle traffic, Prefect 99 lining up, taking off runway 07 VFR departure to the southeast. Newcastle traffic. Takeoff config is okay. The intersection distance is actually from over here. I'm going to follow this line and then we'll use as much as possible. The age-old adage, runway behind you is wasted. Although, how does that work with an intersection departure available? Always check the final approach. Now, the only issue with VFR flying on this plane is that the weather can change en route, so it may not strictly be legal, but hey, that's what we're doing. So there we are. I'm not going to set the parking runway. So 12:15, 200. About good enough, isn't it? We've already announced. In reality, we need to be cleared. Let's go. Hold in a minute. Airspeed's alive, there's V1, there's rotate, and switchy lifting off. Positive rate, onto the flight director's gear up. Busted straight through. Trying to get the airplane sorted. Ad drills me. Trim.
After takeoff checklist. Landing gear. Up. Flaps. 0. Thrust reversers. Off. Ignition. Off. Pressurization. Checked. PAX transition. Completed. N1. Climb set. APU generator. Off. APU. Shut down. Passenger signs.
We're going to leave them on.
CAS.
Checked clear.
After takeoff checklist complete.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
So the reason for us being so low is the cloud. Class D minimum stuff. Even for special VFR, you need at least 5 miles. Special VFR, it might actually be just clear of cloud. For VFR, over 140, you need to be 1,000 feet, 1,000 meters laterally clear of cloud. So we'll start our turn over the coast, which look is about 7 DME. Speed up in a minute. I'm going to make this turn round to the harbour. See, I'm doing a really altitude keeping. So I think the harbour is over there if you look out to the right. It's because ATS fights pitch changes that I'm doing. Big change in a minute. So let's bug 240, that's nice and easy. Second. I think it's the one bang ahead on the nose. See the pitch change there. So in reality, the point of having an autopilot is it takes the workload off. So this is Tynemouth. It's in Newcastle. Should be tracking pretty much the harbour. So looking for 135, 9 minutes. That is a heading. Tune that up. That's just the other side of this headland here. Is the harbour. I think we're heading straight for it out here. Outside. Yes. So let's go up to 3.5, shall we? Climb. Actually, unlike my plan, we are lower. Yep, that looks like the harbour. That's relatively distinctive, wouldn't you say? See if we can just squeeze through this cloud. Hey, they may change anyway. I know the airplane is capable. I would probably follow the coast and be closer. Straight line trip over the sea, without life raft, etc. Anyway, this is us overhead, by the looks of things. So, start the stopwatch. Looking for 9 minutes. I think the PPL standard and possibly the CPL standard is plus or minus 3 minutes. It's really bad. Plus or minus 3. Whatever it is, it's a huge allowance. Go around to 3, 5. You guys see like me? Difficult. Maybe for this leg, go 5.5. Just to get above this cloud layer. Exactly what I would do. 135, stopwatch is running, 9 minutes to go. VFR Pro. And resist the temptation to looking down toys. Heading height and speed is all you need. Check the time every now and then. Heading height and speed. Look outside so you don't hit anyone. That's the way to do it. So 3.5 is probably going to be the base of this. This leg is just over the water, so no qualms about going a little higher. See, we are heading ever so slightly. Tempting. Put a bit of trim in. It's just the wind changing. So, with that in mind, I am heading at vertical speed 500. Alert on. See, look, even the autopilot is having to work relatively hard, and that's the only reason I put the autopilot on. I wanted to fly most of this by hand, but this plane is not the best when it comes to modelling those variables. It to do that, I wouldn't do no change, but in this aeroplane anyway. So, what did I say I would do? We're on 1228. Next, 11913. What's nav doing? Call it 12. We'll be speaking to them next. In Collingsbury 1192. Okay, we might end up actually descending just because clouds have now lifted. So that is the issue with weather changing like it does. And as long as the airspeed stays the same, of course the wind will change slightly. The trick with VFR nav is the reason it's plus or minus 3 minutes is you're going quite slowly. Though not in this aeroplane, we're not. You only need to get close enough to see objective, so as long as you're out in decent weather, you should be able to see turning points, even if you are quite a long way out. You just have to get into the vicinity. If you're in a 10-mile circle, you'll easily be able to see where you're going. This should be relatively easy. Like I said, we could follow the coast all the way around. Good here, coming down. Cabin might do a bit of odd delta P. Arguably, could have had it depressurized and it wouldn't matter. Maybe that would have been a better thing. One thing I didn't think about before going was not having the airplane pressurized because we're staying well within B. Out to our left is Doncaster, I think, so that would be a diversion. You can't quite see it, let's see. What's this? It's the range, sorry. Go. It's fun with no magenta line to follow, isn't it? Heading 5, and Whitby should be this headland out in the distance. if we end up in cloud, I'm going to be irritated. 3 minutes to run. Let's actually pop our fuels so we can keep an eye on that. So we'll just punch through the cloud, all very illegal. In reality, you'd either pick above or below. Say, let's go high. Now that out there that looks like an airfield, I think is Broughton. Not. Maybe I am. Nothing there that looks like an airfield. That sure does. The reason we're sticking to an odd plus 500, I mentioned the semicircular rule. Drift at this speed, so we're doing 4 miles a minute. The max drift, 20 knots. It's going to be a quarter, so 5 degrees is the max drift. If it was way off, but put it there, you don't have that luxury unless you've got GPS. Like I said, we're looking for 9 minutes, and maybe slightly early on such a short leg, it doesn't matter. So there should be a bay and a lighthouse just out here. That's what we're looking for our turning point. The next turning is 170, is what I've got written down. Skydemon is actually giving me 162, so I believe that if it all went Pete Tong, we'd have to just use what we pre-planned, and then it'll be 20 minutes. So, discontinuity, yes, we have that. Let's clear that up just so we get. I know they're not particularly accurate. Going there, but there you go. Reserve extra, loads extra. So, in that right, we are going to pop into the cloud, not changing out again. I wonder. So, even in reality, you can. QNH updates. The reason the QNH, the transition altitude is so low is VFR above 3,000 feet. Well, that's a point. You are actually above 3,000 now because that's the transition altitude outside certain bits of airspace. So, anyway, 9 minutes and we are pretty much overhead, I think. Look outside. That went a bit wrong. We are literally overhead Whitby and a little bit late, so let's go right to 162. Stop the stopwatch. Start the stopwatch. Do your fuel calcs as well. I don't have accurate fuel calculations, so I cannot do that. And we're looking at 20 minutes. So brief seems to have got this spectacular. Let's go around to 170 and believe flight planning. So it's a relatively long leg, so if we are a few degrees out, it could make quite a bit of difference. You can do the drift calculations. Standard closing angle, so we've done 170. We are going to be off track. Probably only a couple of miles. So once we get to the Harbour, if we just 160, it will figure itself out. Stopwatch is running. 170. 3.5 days. Shall we switch to standard? And you can see it's almost all across, and like I said, max drift is 5. You can just about subtract there. 74. bridge? I think it is. So that would be a good checkpoint. 33 frames, I'm happy with that. So VFR, but totally illegal. So, like I say, go above it. I'm just not convinced it's worth faffing about, as it could change at any moment. The cowl anti-ice on people once through these. So RF Crown is actually on to the right. Them on. And even at 240, which is relatively rapid, it'll take a fair old amount of time. See how much slower this is going airways and getting the speed up. And arguably this will use a lot more fuel as well. Standby compass. Now even parallax doesn't work there. I assume this is a slaved compass. It is alright. There was a little bit of parallax there, but 170, so you can fly around the country. Now we should be going right over the centre of Kingston upon Hull, slightly to the east of Humberside. 10 minutes out from Humberside, so we should probably give them a call, which would be 11913, which is COM2, so we can switch over to that. Give a call. So we are 10 minutes to the north. They only have an ATZ, which we will be above, so arguably you don't need to talk to them, but they have instrument approach procedures established outside controlled airspace, so it's worth talking. Make sure you're not just going to be zapping through the hold. They are listed as Humberside radar. If it's so Coningsby is an approach, that tells me that they have no radar, which is a bit of a worry. Humberside radar have a radar. Thinking approach necessarily mean they have a radar. Either way, they don't have, you can have an approach controller whose approach is based on separation, and they have no radar, which is a bit of a worry, hence why you want to call them up and ask who's in the hold. So here we are, continuing our illegal flight. Hit us. Can actually be IFR. We can switch it in our mind to IFR right now. In theory, that would mean that we should change semicircular rule. You don't have to fly IFR in the UK, you don't have to speak to anyone. And you don't have to have an air traffic service, so you can just be flying around in cloud, not talking to anyone. You can ironically ask for a traffic service, in which case people will tell you that there's traffic 2 o'clock while in cloud. So TCAS is mitigation for that. Said, I'm going to do that. Cheating at looking at the map there. It's doing was just making sure that Benson's ILS will be on. But in theory, it's So, hang gliding at doors. Bow left. Beverly Echo Golf November Yankee again somewhere never been to our left, and you can see let's just do this one show it. That's clearly an old wartime airfield with some hangars, and you do some gliding from them. So it would be wise. Can we pull them up? Not as far as I can tell. It'd be certainly wise to give them a call if they have a radio. So Beverly looks like this airfield out here to our left. Used to be very big, and of course is now. Now if we called up Humberside, they would give us the H. So I'm going to cheat. Get it from their METAR, 029. That was from Humberside, yeah. So I think I was right about it being roughly halfway. Should be going to a mile or two to the east, the North Humber Tower Bridge. Looks like we're going to be to the west of it. It may not be particularly well modelled. We'd be scud running either below this layer or above it without any instrument qualification. In the UK now you can still fly above, which puts you in an interesting position. As long as you're clear the other side you can VFR on top, but of course then how do you navigate if you can't see the ground is an interesting question. That looks like the bridge. I don't think there's going to be an actual bridge object there. We should be over here somewhere. This is about halfway. So 170 was our track. We've been blown off. I'm just going to eyeball 60. But you can see that even though we are quite a few miles off track, you can still see for miles. And even if we were 5-10 miles off track, we can get back on track quite easily, and that makes sense with a slightly increased time as well. So our ETA about 22 minutes 20. Sorry, not ETA, ETE. ETA would be 50 and then 52. Hello Senet, thanks for joining. Nice to meet you. But you don't get much chance to do VFR in an Airbus. So I think we needed to be over here. I'd say that's probably 3 miles off track, maybe not even that, 2. Shame there isn't a bridge here. Well, there is actually, I think, a bridge if you look at it. It's just not as good. You can see from the ortho that it's a suspension bridge here. So 11 minutes, we left 160, and yes, I know I should be hand flying it. 16, all across, 16, 17 knots, and again, max drift is 1/4 of that. If we were doing 60 knots, it would be all, and that is based on 1 in 60 rule, but if you're 60 units along, at 1 degree, it's 1 mile. And then if you double that length, that same 1 mile, which is the mile from the wind speed, brings that down to 1/2 degree and 240, 4 miles a minute. It's 1/4. Oh, you see, I don't really. A few people know it, but you can just call me. And actually, looking at my sheet on Sky Demon, we are going to be 10 minutes away from Coningsby, bang overhead. So just eyeballing it, and it worked. So approximations work absolutely fine. So, just going to miss the chat for a moment and check the radar. It might be the only one. Bryce is open. Speak to Bryce radar. $2725. You don't actually have to speak to them. I think you picked the wrong one. Does he not want to move? KA 102. They have got ATIS 1265. So, Humberside is here to the left. We've been talking to them on 11913. Got 125 set because it's still 8. There's no 8.33 on here yet. I got Prize. So as you can see, that's approaches and holds, etc. We would definitely on the side where we are completely outside their ATZ. We don't have to speak to them, but I like to live, so worthwhile having a chat. Wickenby is out to our right again. Could tune and call them up. I am from England, London. I think I can narrow it down to London. So, it can be interesting that is on my list. So, let's have a look on the trusty VFR chart. I know I've got Sky Demon and I can just press and touch it, but let's see if I can get it off the chart. It could be 122455, so 450 would do us. What did I say? 12245. So thanks very much, Humberside. We are passing whatever the VRP is out to the left. Maybe that village there with those, yeah, where those 3 roads join. Thanks very much. And we'll chat to someone else. So Wickenby, we are 2 minutes to the north. We're passing left to the zone. By level 35, and regards for any traffic information that they may have, they should just be out here over to the right. Then tune Coningsby 1192. Speak to them next. And like most things with comms, who you are, what you are, where you are. If you follow that in your mind, you usually can't go too wrong with the radio, although my has been a bit sketchy. Can be a bit sketchy on VATSIM. So 16, I said we were thinking probably about 22. Updated the ETE. So we've got 5-ish minutes. Will I fly to Baku? Don't know, my friend. Don't know. Still, I like to fly in the UK weekends when I have time, and the US is quite nice at the moment for lots of regional airports, so I haven't done much of Asia anywhere like that, so no, probably not, especially seen as if you want to keep the aeroplane and get it there, it's going to take a long time. You can see Coningsby on the nose, well, I can, down here, so just like having a Garmin or something, down 20 miles out. That's for Manchester. Oh look, sky clear, happy days, no need to worry about clouds anymore. So let's get the cowl anti-ice off, shall we? Save a bit of fuel. So we're at Beam Wickenby. We want to call passing a beam. See if we can get over there and spot it. There it is. Looks like quite a good place. You can see it's an old wartime disused airfield with the triangular shapes. It's used all the time. Looks like decent enough runways, not for this, but certainly to get a light aircraft in. So we'd tell Wickenby we're changing over to Coningsby, wish them a good day, and switch to 1192, metering 1675. So Coningsby approach, 99 Challenger 650, and 3 minutes to the north, flight level 35, proceeding overhead, then en route direct Westcott. I know we need to know where we're from first. VFR trip from Newcastle to Benson, 2 minutes to run. Passing overhead, requesting traffic information. We're outside the VATSIM and the ATZ, so we don't need to ask for any of that. We'd ask for traffic service if it looked busy, but actually, basic service we do. So, they would give us QNH that we don't need, 028, but I would update it. Keep one of the altimeters on QNH, one on standard. Leave this one. Go, shows we're at 4,000 feet, because it does make a bit of a difference. And unless I'm very much mistaken, that looks like Coningsby there, and you definitely would want to get those fast jets doing fast jetty things. 20 minutes, I said we were going to be a bit late. 22 was my update, so don't need to be that accurate. We don't need plus or minus 3 seconds. And our next one should be 200. Skydemon's give me 196, so we'll listen to Skydemons. And that'll be an 18-minute leg. To Coningsby, it took a long time to get there by car, it's not the easiest place to get to. Yeah, this would be no fun without Ortho and ex-Europe, as you can see doing the forests and stuff out here, quite good. So 21, I estimated it. Happy we're overhead, and we are going to go to 196. Coningsby may be asked to report overhead. Radar is often limited in the overhead. Then at 196, we'll start the stopwatch. Get to look out first. Go, heading 196, start the stopwatch, and now I want to go down to 2.5, so let's set that on 028, MSAs are the highest is 2000, are turning to an even because we are heading westbound. And actually it was 200, so select 200, which will take us to Wittering, where I have been. They were having a very quiet day. Wittering isn't actually, we should be going directly over it. Or 70 odd miles, 18 minutes, stopwatch is running, 200, 202, but the wind has clearly changed. We may need to inhibit tours and stuff. Get a little bit annoying. But yeah, Wittering, lots of runway, 9,000 foot I think. So thanks very much Coningsby. We would like to change on route and they would say fine. 19675, so we can tune that one up. Sidewell 1227. Queued up and ready. Stop the altitude alert for doing that. So we would be on the current QNH that we've got. Entering 1027, so it's reducing. Go. Miles to go to Benson, direct or track line. Why don't we do that? Wittering Mats in at 12 nautical miles, called 1967, not tuned. And that's because we're only about 2 or 3 minutes out. 12 nautical miles, 4 miles a minute, 3 minutes. So tune it up, 1967. Wittering Zone, Prefect 99, Challenger 650, Newcastle to Benson, Vfr currently 2,500, QNH 128. Vfr, direct overhead Wittering to Westcott, request basic or traffic service. Then they'd come back and they would give us their QNH 027. It's either a traffic or a basic service. Fortunately, we can't stop for a cup of tea. We could actually get into Wittering in this jet because it's massive. The runway is massive. We would be going through the mats at this height, so we don't have to have a mats penetration. We'd ask if we were going overhead the ATZ. You don't have to respect a mats, but it's worth calling up and doing. And it genuinely is this nicer day in the UK. Still nobody online to talk to. Rise was only online for a departure. We're making a beeline straight for Benson pretty much. I think we're going to be about runway. I remember when here, which ring was actually relatively difficult to see. If you can quite make it out, I didn't see it until quite late, and it wasn't even that hazy, so it's just the terrain. We went round East Midlands, round Sireston, the left base join to get into Whitby. As it was dead quiet, there was nobody flying. 2 air traffic controllers on duty and actually an assistant. So 2 guys up in the tower, 1 downstairs, one's in for a toilet break, and a brew, that was it. I think you can just see the airfield here. There it is. See, we should be going right over the middle, and we're not. So I think we'll do a 5-degree turn to the left. Golf courses, etc. Could do it without Ortho. And of course you could use BEX. There you go. Big, long runway. Tower is down here in the middle, so we landed, vacated, and had to do a left because it was only in a Warrior. Let us depart from here because there's nothing published, so we had to go way down, depart, and we were airborne with the tower. So, the fun day out. I don't think there's a hangar there, but that is what our in. See, massive pan. Usually a relatively busy airfield, but I visited. Ah, that was why I didn't want to do direct, because now we can cheat line, haven't we? So, downwind right hand join into Benson. Just looking. Plates. So there's PARs and SRAs, but there's someone, which is 188095. Wow, I'm surprised we're picking that up. So we've just exited the mats. They will tell us that. 7 still H. And we've got about 3 or 4 minutes to run until Ravine and Sywell. So thanks very much, Whitby. Nobody to talk to in reality, but we can switch to Sywell information 7. Following that, Rise don't normally like to talk to us to 7, but they can be quite helpful even if you're outside. With handover, etc. So I've done that. They only normally cover arrivals from the northeast. A nice early call to give people a bit of notification can help. What did I say? The course. 18. So, Cywell information. Prefect 99 is a challenger. You've got to keep doing this every single time. Every time you speak to somebody new. Challenger 650. Currently just a beam Grafton Underwood disused, which is out to our right. Altitude 2,507. Got VFR. Newcastle to Benson West. Can't give us any traffic information, but they could give us some basic service and any activity. And it would probably be quite busy. Hampton will be out to our right. This is Wellingborough, which we should be a little bit further over, so let's come. I'm only doing 5-degree steps because that's what you fly to with any level of accuracy. We're more than halfway. It's 11 minutes into an 18-minute leg. I've drawn it on chart. But actually we are halfway, so I think the wind is slightly out. A good halfway point, and so actually late 24. How are we doing fuel wise? We've still got extra fuel. 610 kilos extra. Should be able to see there is Cywell out to the right. Just there it is. Single runway. Never been there. TPR rules. Tell them that we're passing a beam. Cranfield is out to our left. I don't think we would be in the way, and we're relatively low, so necessarily cool up. Should have Poddington out to our left, which again is another disused aerodrome. It's car testing there, so it's quite distinctive. Rise ATIS 126.5. Tune that one up. So if I that one, Com1 725. Com2 2725. That's interesting. Isn't anything like Rise. .24275. So they get 1272. Never mind, 1265 for the ATIS. 2.
Information Bravo. Time 1250 Zulu, Z. Runway 07 in use, color code blue, surface wind 080 degrees 8 knots, visibility 10 kilometers, or more cloud. Scattered 4,000 feet, temperature 10, dew point -1 QNH 1026. Touchdown zone elevation 287 feet, transition level 40. Information Bravo. Ends.
Does work. So we'll go back to actually talking about what we're doing ahead of us. Alton out to the left, Cranfield out to our left of beam. behind. This is Milton Keynes. So Benson Metal 1027, we'll use 1026. Don't forget it was 18 minutes to Westcott. Now we might actually make that. Quite halfway. So 7 HPA. So QFE will be 1020 when I'm flying QFE. We have about 5 minutes to run. We're going to get to Westcott and then we're actually just going to eyeball it. But we can use the ILS, which is out to the right, just to give us a steer. And maybe keep it 1 or 2 dots over to the right. 1500 feet. A QFE.
Descent checklist. Shoulder harness.
Checked.
Passenger signs.
On.
Pressurization.
Set.
Fuel quantity and balance.
50 kilos.
FMS landing data charts.
Oh, we haven't done the landing data, have we? So I really need to get the weather behind the 1209 for Benson zone. 1026. So start bringing the speed back. Or 50 auto 050 at 8k 1600 0 026109 perf approach SS 9 26 50 8. Let's take our current weight, landing field length, ample, send, done. So 120 I would call Benson zone. We are pretty much overhead Westcott, I think. There it is. Bang overhead Westcott. Difficult to see. And you're right on top. Excellent nav from me. So we've slowed down because we're in visual range. Not quite visual range, but we know this is the local area, so we know Benson's out here.
Approach briefing.
Discussed. We're going to just be downwind. One.
VNAV transition to flight level. Descent checklist complete. In range checklist next.
Well, we're about 5 minutes out.
In range checklist. APU. Started. Altimeters.
Set 1026.
Reset. Cross-checked. Avionics.
Checked and set.
External lights. On. N1 target. set. APU PAX transition. Avail completed. APU generator. On. CAS.
Checked clear.
In range checklist complete. Before landing checklist next.
So there we go, we are picking up the ILS. It is out to the right. What we want for downwind joint, I think I can see child growth here on the nose. So, bring the speed back. And there is Benson's runway. So let's actually do that. 188 is probably going to be a bit keen, so let's try and track 188. I think we're going to need a little bit of a wide circuit. I would join overhead normally, but this aeroplane a little bit wider. Benson traffic prefect 99 overhead. Chow Grove. Downwind join runway 01. Benson traffic. Still be a little bit close in. So I think I am too close. Would normally fly over this pitch here, the narrow part of the village. So let's come out a little bit. Switch. Nav source. There we go. VR2. This. And I don't want my director. Benson traffic prefect 99 downwind right hand 01. Here is the end of the runway. Stop the chrono. I didn't do that once we got overhead Westcott. Start a descent. That's the traffic. Prefect 99 final 01 full stop. Not descending. Descending that quick either. I think we're going to end up busting straight through the centre line again, further out, and actually fly a 30-degree turn. So that's straight through the centre line there. That's okay, we were expecting that. And as you can see, not a circuit. So the airfield is out over there to the right.
1,000.
There is no way we're going to make. You know what? Let's just keep going. We might. 3. Calculate. That's not good.
500.
That was pretty terrible. Again, just too tight. Be difficult to get the distance for this. There you go, some more mediocre flying. Well, we salvaged a landing out there. Too low, but there we are.
100.
Rescued it.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Touchdown. Come. Okay. Oh, I didn't do the before landing checklist. Looks like we're going down to the end of the runway. Well, that was pretty poor. I think my circuits need some work. As do my checklists. I need to change that because that is wrong. That's a UK marking. Let's have UK marking. So spoilers up. Okay, Alpha, what is this ahead of us? Bit of a worry. The approach lighting. Goodness, something's gone wrong. What is that about? To revisit that, that's well and truly wrong. That's a traffic prefect 99, runway vacated at Alpha.
Before landing checklist. After landing checklist. Landing pulse recog lights. Off. Anti-collision lights. Off. Continuous ignition. Off. Windshield heat. Off. Probes. Off. Wing anti-ice. Off. Cowl anti-ice.
Oh, come on.
Spoilers. Stowed. Flaps. 0. ATC TCAS. Alt on. Radar mode. Standby. After landing checklist complete. Engine shutdown checklist next.
Well, that wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either, was it? But a bit of fun. I wonder if I've still got some more scenery here, because this is looking egopping. Is this the default one? There isn't a sign that side in reality. Those approach lights procedural and wrong, so it's about. Anyway, that was a bit of fun for a nice day. I think some circuits in the aeroplane. I definitely need to do some work on Benson's scenery here. As we can base ourselves here instead of Northolt, just like 32 Squadron did when the runway was being resurfaced. I was flying over Benson. They had the BA 146s. I think those sat down one day when I flew over. Down to Cornwall. Oh, yes, this does look like my trusty work. So there are centerline lights. They do finish. I haven't quite finished everything. It's airfield yet. which is not really an excuse, is it? I have been editing lots of other airfields as well. So there's a tower there, I don't know if it's the beacon. I wonder if that is done by ex-Europe. So, where are we going to park? In reality the air ambulance parks over here. So, I don't think there are any parking spots. Need a bit of taxiway there and some buildings. That looks good. So we need some parking spots as well, but for the time being, this will do. I definitely need to improve the scenery. Rig set.
Engine shutdown checklist. Taxi lights. Off. Parking brake. Set. Reverse thrust. Stowed. Generators 1 and 2. Off. Engine 2 shut down. Fuel boost pumps. Off. Fuel system.
Just waiting for the right low pressure, which has shown.
Engine 1 shut down. Check ITT below 350 degrees Celsius.
Checked.
Anti-ice. Off. 14th stage. Off. Beacon. Off. No steer. Off. ATC TCAS. Standby 0. Parking brake if chocked.
Let's get them chocks in. So Volanta said that touchdown was -153. I think it was smoother than that. Did it quite well. Chocks in. Brakes off. The airplane isn't rolling away.
Passenger signs. Off. Cabin differential. 0 psi. Engine shutdown checklist complete. Securing checklist next.
So it would just be a walk. Getting picked up.
Hot Start Flight Support, Jenny speaking. How can we help? Of course, I'll have that over with you in a minute or two. Anything else?
No thanks.
Always a pleasure. Take care.
So I'm tempted with the air ambulance to actually put a helicopter on the pad all the time because it sits there unless it's flying. But then that breaks my own rules for my irritation around traffic at airports. Well, let me know in chat what you think. Should we base it here for Benson if I do a bit more work with the scenery? The hangars are RAF, so they're green in reality. Could probably make something a lot better if we're going to operate out of here regularly. Have the toilet door open. Who's been in my bog? Let's go do the nose while we wait for Max to get picked up. They may still be hot, so Best idea. Sorry about your ears.
The airport taxi's here. Thank you, Captain. Great flight as always.
You're welcome.
Well, I'll see you next time.
The landing. Well, the approach wasn't, but hey, made it. It was a little bit unstable. Yeah, that was pretty horrific, even at low speed. Just a bit too close in. Crosswind didn't help, although that's a poor excuse.
Secure and checklist. Emergency lights.
Off.
AC/DC utility switch.
In. Off.
Headsets.
Off.
Thrust reversers. Chocks.
Stalled.
Parking brake.
Come off. Brake is already off.
Hydraulic pumps. Nav lights, logo light.
On.
APU generator. APU start stop. Packs.
Off.
LCV 10th stage isolation valve.
Both off.
APU power fuel. ICAS APU gauge. Battery master. Cockpit refuel panel.
Off.
Service lights. Pins and covers.
Did.
Securing checklist complete.
So there we go. Let's take the APU gen offline. Off, out, secured. Time for aeroplane. Right. So let's disconnect. VATSIM. Shall we? Should have been a go around, but hey, we rescued it. Shame about no sound in the replay. Those have actually gone now. Takeoff power station, no more. But we should have been. Ended up pointing at the village. Rescued at what, 100 feet? And then it was just a little bit of a float. Oh, okay, maybe it was about 100 feet a minute. That was a little bit of a thump. This approach light is awful. Vehicle. Can't I see them here? Anyway, I didn't think that was a bad rescue. Should have been a go around. That could have easily been a nice go around at circuit height into. We were already on the dead side. Could have just climbed back up and gone back round. But I thought it was worth trying to rescue. So here is our wonderful jet parked up. Maybe not on a spot. It'd be halfway through. Like I say, the air ambulance sits up here. The pan does have quite a bit of slope to it. As you can see, there's some buildings we need to add in here. Yeah. See what I can do. If you think I keep playing here, add some more buildings. Hangars, whilst not perfect, they are representative. So, yeah, we could base here. It's got long enough runway. It's not Ortho, and maybe the performance is a bit better, but the ATC might be a bit more sparse. Anyway, that's the airplane shut down. I didn't check to see what the give us any readings. At 960 on shutdown. Really need AC power for fuel. Do that. Well, 960 will have to be. Whilst I quite like this livery, I might change it just because it is that bit blocky. I'll see if I can find a better one. Just not that great up close. Anyway, I think the airplane's secured. Let's head back. And maybe we'll fly again later in the States. Yeah, just the stripe on this. Bit of anti-aliasing. Needs a bit of a cutout around those as well. Those mandatory stickers. Reality. Protected, you have to. Those clear. So, chocks are in. Pins are in. Covers are on. Like my aeroplane. That's us done. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry I didn't have any online charts, VFR charts to show you, but pretty much did our route. And yeah, just something different just to show you the VFR. I know I should have been hand flying it, but it's just a bit of a pain. And in reality, if I had an autopilot, I would be using it just the way I was there. So happy days. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again. Thanks for the subs, those of you that have subs and are new. Look after yourselves. Take care. Till the next time. Bye for now.